I can never go back to being the same. If you offer me today a job that's going to pay me $1 million on an annual basis, I'm going to say no to it. I've said no to a couple of offers where people like literally say, I'm going to be paying you $1 million for a year. Would you like to take this job? And I turn these jobs down. Because why? I now understand that if this guy is willing to pay me $1 million, how much am I going to pay for him? Because remember, if somebody is willing to pay you $1 million, how much do you think they're going to make from you? No, ask yourself, like, oh, I got a nice job offer. Ask yourself, how much are you actually making for that person? So we need to come to a point where we also start realizing our worth. If your worth is worth $1 million, then please accept that $1 million job. But as for some of us who now understand our worth, you need to put a bit more than that. Maybe add 3, 4 zeros, and then still after those 3, 4 zeros, I might still say no. So tonight, we have an exclusive offer for anyone with a keen interest to join the real estate business. Anyone tonight with an interest in joining real estate, we have an exclusive offer, and that offer is just valid for tonight. It means that after tonight, once we leave this room, it's like this thing never happened. Don't come, all be quiet. It's only for tonight. So if you miss the opportunity here, don't come, please. Some of us, we are uncorruptible, so please don't even try. Because if we're corruptible, we would have been corrupted long time ago. So as part of our Bragg Vitals development estate, we'll be building apartments. This is cheap of mine. Okay, so we are building 150 apartments. Next slide, please. So 50 apartments are to be sold. 50 apartments are to be co-owned. And then the other 50 apartments are strictly going to be for rentals. So you can't keep everything. Some you sell off, others we co-own, and others are simply there for rentals. So this is the current market price for apartments. Next slide, please. The piece is sold. Okay, so you can select the next slide, but just wait. Okay, I'm not quite sure whether you guys can see the figures. So this is a 2-bedroom apartment. It's for sale in Elisenheim. And the reason why we put Elisenheim on this side is because Elisenheim is about 6 kilometers away from our development. So you guys can have a picture of what the asking prices are for this thing. And these are the latest market prices. You're more than welcome to Google them. Verify. Very important, guys. When somebody gives you information, don't just accept it, yeah, amen. Also go and verify whether you are being fed the right, correct information. Because we live in a nation where if a newspaper today reports this, we all start believing what the newspaper says. But sometimes the newspapers don't even verify with their sources and things like that. So a 2-bedroom apartment is costing you about 990,000. A townhouse also for sale in Elisenheim, it's costing you about $1 million. And then a townhouse again for sale in Elisenheim. This one is a 3-bedroom, I see. It's costing $1,365,000. Now, some of you might be like, oh, but now I must have to leave fun. Let me maybe just get myself a apartment there in Komandao, whatever. We're like, please be our guest. 2-bedroom, 850,000. And then if you are this posh, nice guys, like Dimbu was saying, you just have onions and you usually at parties ask for bones, but you don't have a dog because you live in an apartment. Like, have you ever guys wondered how does someone who lives in an apartment want to take bones to his dog? Like, you must sometimes ask yourself, but chief, you live in an apartment. Which apartment is those ones that are pet friendly? Because I also want to live there. I want a pet friendly apartment. So this one is in, I think it's Independence, what? 77. It's gonna cost And we chose these names specifically for a purpose and for a reason. Now, Khufu was the fourth king of Egypt. If you guys know the Pyramid of Giza, it's also the seventh wonder of the world. That's where Khufu is buried. Now, for years, Africans have been underestimated. But up until today, the Europeans can't figure out how we built those pyramids. In fact, they believe that someone from, that's why they are always sending people to Mars, because they want to go see where are those people who assisted us to build these things. Because they want to go and maybe negotiate and say, please man, come give us that technology that you have. So in Africa, we have built things that have lasted for generations. And that's why we've named our apartments after Khufu and Tutmos. These were basically Egyptian kings. So please, with your slow computer, we just quickly want to show you guys our 3D visuals of this apartment. So you guys can just see how they're going to look like and so forth. Okay, so we know this thing is going to take now like a good 2 minutes. So this good 2 minutes gives us enough time to actually indulge in a bit of jokes. You know, comedy is nice, man. I used to be a comedian, but no, honestly. But the only problem with comedy is I realized I was a funny guy, but broke. Now, being funny and broke, it's two things that doesn't stick well, man. Because now people were not laughing at my jokes, but they were laughing at the fact that I looked like a joke. That was the problem. So it's not to say I was funny, but my appearance and everything, how I looked. Okay. There's no sound. Oh. Okay, awesome. So that's basically the 3D representation of how our apartments are going to look like at the Brown development. So please give our design team a round of applause, guys. Come on. So quickly we're going to go back to the presentation. So Kufu, the first apartment that you guys saw, the ones with the green and slightly gray colors. So let's just wait for my brother to find my slide so that we have the same picture. Yes. So these are basically our 2-bedroom apartments. And they're going to start selling for 490,000. But this price is only exclusively for those of you who are here tonight. Only. Yes, because I've seen the market price. I've seen what the market charges. So I'm offering you now an exclusive deal to say that I'm giving you a 2-bedroom apartment. Dimbu, just quickly correct me the square size. How big are they? 66 squares. That's how big they are. So they are relatively bigger than your normal apartments that you're going to find. And they are only going for 490,000. So guys, don't be shocked now. Most of you are like, the kettle that I have are not enough to buy that apartment. Don't worry. Like we said, we disrupt markets. So we're going to show you guys how you can relatively actually be able to afford this 2-bedroom apartment. And then we have our 3-bedroom apartments, which is the Tutmus. How big are they, Dibu? 80 square meters. So those are 3-bedroom apartments, and they are going for 590,000 Namibian dollars. That offer also just exclusively for tonight. So if you have $590,000 tonight, you can get yourself that beautiful apartment. So let us take you through the numbers so you just quickly have an understanding of how things are going to work. So the first option that we have is ownership. So these are how the payments are going to work in terms of the options that you want. If you want a 2-bedroom, we need 10% deposit, which is going to be 49,000 Namibian dollars. If you want this nice 3-bedroom flat, then obviously you must fork out an extra 59,000 Namibian dollars as your deposit. So what you do is you pay this amount as your deposit. We as the developer, we then develop that apartment for you. Once that apartment has then been developed, quickly let's take them through the payment plan that we have for them. We then give you 6 years to repay the rest of our money that you owe us. So if it's a 2-bedroom, you've already paid 49,000. That means you're only left with the principal amount of 441,000 Namibian dollars. If we divide that by 72 months, it basically means you'll be paying 6,125. Guys, a Golf 7 costs more than this apartment that I'm selling. A Rupa costs more than what we're actually offering you here. And for I have a friend of mine who works at MZ, we can put these 2 cars, these 2 things together, and it still doesn't come close to any one of the cars that they are selling. No, this is not a joke. It's the serious truth. No, you can put these 2 prices together, and you still not be able to afford the car that they sell. I'm not going to mention his name, but the car that they sell, they are expensive. So for the 3-bedroom, you're going to owe us 531,000 as your principal amount. We give you 72 months. You are able to pay it off at a monthly installment of 7,375. So that basically means that if you have 49,000 or 59,000 lying somewhere. You can then now say, man, let me make this investment. And then what do you do once the thing is built? If you don't have the money to pay the monthly, what do? You rent it what? You rent it out. Then the person, no, you pay or rent it out obviously for slightly more because 3-bedroom apartment goes for how much? 10, 12, somewhere there. And then obviously a 2-bedroom is in the range of 7,000, 8,000 there. So you'd still be able to score like $400, which is slightly more than you're making when your money is sitting in the what? The bank. But the option is ownership. So if you're looking at ownership, this is pretty much the way to go. So then we go to what we call co-ownership. Now you don't have 49,000, but you have a cousin, sister, brother, fiance, whatever the case is, who has the other half of the 49,000. So what do? The two of you come together. And now you co-own these things. So what does it happen? What does that mean? It basically means you now be paying half of what the other person has to pay. So you would pay the 24,500 and the other person pays the other 24,500. So for the 3-bedroom, it means you pay slightly a bit more, 29,500. But now you guys are co-owners of this particular apartment. So the payments here, if you are two, obviously, it's going to be half again of whatever you're going to pay if you're the full owner of this thing. Now, eventually, this is how people usually start off in the property industry. The two of you start off as co-owner, owning one flat. Then tomorrow again, you purchase another one. Then you guys purchase again another one. You purchase another one. By the time you know it, you at least carrying 15 flats that are just the J&J. Guys, I sometimes wonder, there are certain people who just sit at coffees the whole day. Then you wonder, why does this guy, this whoever just reading a paper, whoever on his tape, but this guy never works. He's just always in that restaurant. But he's also not the owner of that restaurant. Turns out the guy owns the building in which the restaurant is being leased. There are levels to these things. Levels. So this is basically the repayment plan. And then we decided to say, okay, fine. What about now the other guy who just doesn't have that extra money? Like, what do we do for him? So the 50 apartments that we're going to rent out, this is then the offer that we have for this $1,000 million. We're then saying to you, of the 50 apartments that we're going to build, we are willing to take you on as a silent partner. We don't want you to come in and say, no, the color, you are just silent. You can't decide on the color. Don't decide on those things. You are just silent. Yeah? The problem is silent partners always want to make noise. You are silent. So what we're saying is, if you have $25,000, we'll then take you on as a partner. And then what we'll do is, when we rent out that apartment, or that particular apartment that we're going to rent out, if you come in at $25,000, on a monthly basis, we're saying we're willing to share with you the rent money, whereby we give you each month $1,000 Namibian dollars. 1,000 times 12 equals how much? 12,000. So that's where the 12,000 is coming from. So do you see now that if I invest in real estate, I'm likely to get what? Better returns than my current investment plan is offering me. Then we're saying the guy who only has 12,500, we're willing to give you $500 a month from our rentals, and then as a result of that, you'll be making 6,000 Namibian dollars on an annual basis. Then we said further, but this was Dimbu's idea. It's like, cheap man, activists. So now you have to cater for the activists. I'm a capitalist. We capitalize on situations. But then you have to have that component of humanity as well. That's why we said, let's have that guy who, when we are in meetings, we just want to be greedy landlords. We have that guy who speaks to our conscience and say, guys, there are people who don't have much, but they also want to become part of this thing. So that's when we then say, if you have 7,500 Namibian dollars, you put it in to the rental apartments, then on an annual basis, we'll be giving you 3,250. That basically means on a monthly basis, you'll be getting about 250 Namibian dollars on a monthly basis. So that's basically, let me see, on this nice tip. Please continue the slide. So that's practically the offer that we have to. So I just wanna give a special thanks to our partners, Monjila Project and Advisory Management. These are the guys managing our project. They are basically our project managers. And then we have Samuel and Co. These are basically our attorneys that will be doing the transfers of your title deeds. They will be drawing up our contracts and all those nice, beautiful things. And then we obviously have Nivelo Planning Consultants. These are the guys doing our township establishment. And then we also have Lena Kasheta. I'm not quite sure whether she's here tonight. She's also one of the people who have been helping us or assisting us in making sure that you guys have beautiful house plans, beautiful layouts of your houses and so forth. And we also have Skylab, one of our partners as well in terms of, he's a civil engineer. I don't know these things, but I didn't go to school, so these are the guys who basically have assisted us. So, on to the last slide. So, who remembers cartoons, Looney Tunes? Anyone? Tom and Jerry. So this is it. That's all, folks. There's nothing else. What more do you want? We're going to now engage in the answer and question session, but I'm going to give this over to Josie as our host or an MC, so that she basically facilitates the answers.
Thank you very much for the presentation. First of all, let me just congratulate you guys for coming up with this project. I just want to ask with regard to the payment method, whereby one, for instance, would invest maybe 25,000, and then you get a monthly return of $1,000. Now, is there a time limit to say you invest 25,000, but then we give you $1,000? Is it now for life, or is it maybe for a year, or is it for 6 years? And the other thing is that, let me say I invest now the 25,000, you pay me for a year, and then, I keep the budget, you understand? So, how do you feel that situation? Will somebody come and take over maybe machinery? Do you pay a lump sum out? How does it end? So, that's it.
My name is Kama. I actually don't want to ask any questions. I want to just give a comment, just maybe a minute. The property group Save Namibia is quite a good project, and well, I'm from Ultimate Group, okay, so I have to tell you guys where I'm from, and we are also doing something similar to what you guys are doing, which is beautiful. They inspired us, but we are doing it more as a group, okay. So this thing that these young men and women are doing actually is something that we should learn from all of us. We should not just come here, look at property groups Save Namibia and say we are all going to depend on them. Yes, we can do that. What I'm saying is we should be able to learn that we can come together and do things on our own. Even like they were showing in the last part there, where you can pay as co-owners of something. You understand? We are building something as members of the organization. We are 500 members. We are building our own houses. So I'm saying that you guys can do the the same, you can also join what these guys are doing. So I recommend, I like the 0% interest thing, because the banks have been scamming us, have been robbing us for many centuries now. You know, they say there's a saying that houses are not built for people; they are built for banks. So they hold you hostage. Okay, so these banks makes you a slave. They are slave for 20, 30 years. Then when you die, this important property that you're supposed to have, they actually take it away from you, from your children and your families and whoever that will be left behind. So this is a good initiative, and everybody should buy into it. And then the other thing that I don't like about the whole thing is the one bedroom. Okay, one bedroom is actually a bad idea. You guys should think about it. I'm not saying you should scrap it. You have your own plans, but whenever you build the property and you have a one bedroom, you are always creating a system where people will start sleeping in the sitting room. Okay, so having people sleeping in the sitting room actually brings a whole mess into the whole housing. You know, a house. You know, we have what we call organizations. Okay, as black people, we're not into organizations. We are into companies and whatever. So we need to learn from the houses where we are from, wherever we are from, to actually be organized, because an organization means organized, being organized. So if you can stop people from sleeping in your sitting room, it should start with building at least a two-bedroom house. Say, no, Matthias is already in the house, so join him in the room, but nobody should sleep in my kitchen or my sitting room. Okay, so look into that. And then the other thing, Michael mentioned something about the change of mindset. In Katutura or in black people's areas, we have a tendency of we don't love each other. We don't have the Ubuntu thing that was naturally in us. So, and we should move away so that we create something totally different for us to be better. So what I'm saying is that yes, we can go and build our new homes, our new style with the current society. But what we need to do as a people is that we need to go back to Katutura and inspire those that are staying there. Because then you inspire the child that is growing up next to you. If we are all, after we graduate, we run to Ludwigsdorf and everywhere else, then like that we are killing our own young people that are growing up. I mean, yeah, because they say for you, if you want to develop an area, you develop where you are from. Okay, so let's not forget to go back there. And then, yes, like I said, let's cut out the banks, and then because the banks have enslaved us, so let us focus and continue doing things like what they are doing and what we are doing. So that's all that I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we have two questions here. I'll take this one. You guys will address the three questions, then we'll take the questions after that. Safety first.
Yes, good evening everyone. My name is Apollos Dimweda. Yes, I'm from also sort of a similar company, but it's mostly into architectural designs and construction. But I really had a question because of the field that I'm mostly ventured in. And there was, I really just wanted to know your developmental policies. You know, like you said, you spoke about housing development, like you give us space to extend, and we can buy a plot, or I can come in as a company and buy plots and then build them for my people. But will that, with your policies, are you going to use your own policies on how or do you know those like municipality, like they give you a certain time that I need to build a structure, for example. And you know those things nowadays, they give people a lot of pressure. That is that speedy construction, I have to speed up my money, I have to borrow money and then put the structure before I lose my plot. So with this initiative, obviously I know you guys are doing good for the people, and you wouldn't want that. So how would you tackle that better? How would you really give people that flexibility that you're not forced to build a certain structure before a certain period of time. And I really just want to hear about the developmental policies. That's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. The three questions, maybe we can start with addressing the two questions asked by the first gentleman, and then we proceed to his question.
Josie, just to quickly, thank you very much for the question in terms of what's going to happen should you die and is it a once-off payment or whatsoever. So the commitment is basically for life. So if you put in your 25,000, you'll be getting the $1,000 for life. And as the rent increases, so does the portion that will be apportioned to you also increase. Because let's not be blatant, man. $1,000 today is worth something, but tomorrow it's worth nothing. So as times changes, so is your worth going to change in that. So in terms of debt, and this is particularly something that black people like to shy away. Don't speak about debt, I'll die tomorrow. We often do not speak much about debt. But we need to now start planning to say, what happens to my estate once I'm gone? Now, we cannot plan what happens to your estate. However, what we can guarantee you is that we'll continue paying to whoever you put there as a beneficiary. So, should you put there your girlfriend as a beneficiary, which I will not advise you to, because I recently read a football player, all the things, the wife's name, and now the guy apparently is playing under 23 soccer back in his home. So, rather find someone to manage your estate. So that's why we always tell people, write wills, even if it's on a piece of paper. Write it, have it there to say, should I succumb, this is what I would like to happen to whatever I had. My t-shirts, please give them to charity. My soccer boots, please donate them to a museum. All of those things, state what you want to happen to you. Some of you don't even want to be buried next to that cousin of yours who did like, but now because you'll be buried there next to that cousin because you didn't write anything. So, as black people, let us get into the culture of planning for the life after this life. Death is a part of us. Eventually, we're going to die at some point. But just to answer your question is to say that there's going to be an initiative where there's a beneficiary. Should that beneficiary be dead, there will also be a dead beneficiary. But beyond that, you now need to plan for your own estate. And perhaps the comment of the one bedroom. Now, the whole idea with the one bedroom is to say that we're selling it at 195,000. Now, we could have done more, but then the cost slightly goes up. Now, if you're sitting on a 500 square meters and you have a one bedroom, it then gives you more than enough room for you to expand this house. Now, the problem with our thinking as well, like I said, thinking is a very crucial thing. Now, if you are then a cousin of me who I bought a one bedroom house, now what we need to start doing now, the problem with us black people, we like things that are for free. Now you are staying at your cousin's one bedroom place, you are not paying electricity, you are not contributing anything to the house, virtually nothing. But what you could essentially do is when your cousins now start living there with you, you guys can then now start saying, that money that we're supposed to be paying me or paying for rent, can we not buy bricks every month so that by the end of 6 months or 7 months, we extend the house? But we don't have that type of thinking. We don't have that type of culture. You now think, I help extend my cousin's house, is going to kick me out. Yes, he might kick you out, but at least then the next cousin who's going to come from the farm or whatever will have a second bedroom where they are able to live in. So this is basically a startup. In life, we all need a startup. Now we are giving you this startup one bedroom. Now what you do with the one bedroom is up to you. We understand we need to be organized and whatnot, but we need to start somewhere. We can't just all start at the 3 bedroom, 2 bedroom, or whatsoever. I might not have the funds for the 3 bedroom, but I do have the funds for my 1 bedroom. So the 1 bedroom then becomes a good start.
Developmental policies. Well, one is that when we say we are choosing colors, we are choosing the whole lot. And what we've also been able to do with those guys who we need to just provide service links to, we've also then informed them to say, look, the statutory requirements when you buy land in a municipal area or in a township area, you have about 2 years to develop. But we understand that we can't all develop in 2 years because we must now recover, we must now plan. But we are also renting, so we need to navigate the whole ship. So we don't instantly want to put pressure on people. So you have the maximum up to you to develop that service area that we're going to give you. So that is where we stand. So in terms of that development. So when you come in and you're getting a service area, that service area is up to you to when you want to develop it, at what pace, whether you want to start bringing in 5 bricks tomorrow. Don't worry, they won't be stolen because we have 24-hour security to guard those things. But of course, we need to put up a structure where we can keep them. Secondly, is maybe to go a little bit further and say that we of course are cognizant of those that will be struggling, those that would be wanting to make an effort. How do we meet them halfway? So those discussions that we are saying, the estate is open. We don't want to put in those restrictions to people. Us from Property Group Save Namibia, we make sure that we get the land, we take it through township establishment, we service it, we construct the houses that we promise to construct. We allocate the elements to those that needs to be allocated to. Now, the rest of us who are going to live there now needs to organize organization. We now organize ourselves under the Homeowners Association to regulate and manage our livelihood. Because if we don't manage and regulate our own livelihood, nobody takes ownership. That is why the pothole will be there for 3 days. We don't want what's happening in Namibia, where the developer has an influence in the Homeowners Association, where the homeowners contribute money for rates and taxes. He takes that money to service his debt, and at the end of the day, the township comes in a dilemma. You can't manage yourself. So that is why the Homeowners Association will be a very important component to managing the estate, because we are managing ourselves.
All right, thank you very much.
Everybody said it's a commendable initiative, and you guys are young, so you have all the energy to run around, and we will be pushing you and helping you to do it. My question is very, very simple. I just want you to take us who are here, because the information is a lot, you know. When you go home, you have to explain to whoever was not here, 1, 2, 3, this is what happened. Can you just take us through the ABCs of owning a property in this place? Not the financial aspect, but you know the cousin of mine that is there in Havana without a place. He wants a place to live in. Can you just take us through the steps like A, B, C for owning a house or an area to build in that place?
Yes, that's a good question. So basically, it's step 1, you must be alive. Step 2, like that. Yes. Very important question, actually. Because then you guys can go and advise those who are not here correctly. Sorry.
Good evening. The first question that I have is maybe this is just a recommendation. Maybe you should just fix the date for the financial talks very soon. Is that okay? Okay, thank you. And then for the 1-bedroom houses, do you have a plan already set if I want to expand, or is it my own architecture mind? Okay, that's one question. And then at the back there, do you have a mall or a shopping center that I don't need to rush to Katura or wherever to do any shopping? I just have maybe the essential stuff, not really those big stuff. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we can make that question a bit broader, Michael and Dimbu. Instead of just the one-bedroom apartment, the plans. Are you guys going to provide extension plans for all of your customers, or does that come at an extra cost at a later stage? Do we have any other questions? I think we can take one more from now.
Thank you. Thank you very much. My name is Dee Pinker from Windhoek. I just want to congratulate you, young people, like the gentleman over there say, you guys are young, we will push behind you. So you guys are very energetic. Thank you for this initiative. Looking at the models of the properties, of the courts, there were quite a lot. We black people, we like our brides and our music and our Saturdays and weekends, and we're quite different in our characteristics. Some people like noise, some people are just calm, they like serenity, they like tranquility. I know they are body corporate and things like that in these halls. So I just want some affirmation there of how you guys will go about to accommodate everyone.
So in other words, she wants to know if the Saka lost or not. Yeah, very important question.
Alright, step one, be alive, yes. Step two, we have an application that we drafted. That's to check the personal details of the person, your employment condition or your financial position. It's very important. And thirdly, your source of revenue. And source of revenue is critical because tomorrow we just realize you're a drug dealer and Coca is looking for you. And you become as witnesses now of handling this money. So we need to get specific requirements that we can't run away from. There are those requirements that we need. So it's very simple. Our email address, I think, admin@propertygroupsavenamibia.com. I don't think we've got some applications for that, but ideally that is where we deal with. Our office is in Lapland, in Kadatura, and Unit 27 in Sun Industrial Park, just opposite Lapland. So with them, the application process and all those things, we can deal with them there. Yes. Documents that you must prepare is the copy of your ID or identification. What is very important, if you are married, please give us your marriage certificate so that we don't dispute these things tomorrow. If, of course, you are employed, a payslip, a proof of income. If you're a business owner, your bank statements would roughly be good to go in a sworn declaration, inclusive of a 3 months bank statement, just to track and see how your finances work. We're not really interested in how much is left in your bank account, but it's generally to see if you have the eligibility to make that commitment. I think that is clear on that aspect. Yes, for those that we have been going through those individual plans, that is where we have that one-on-one discussion to say, my plan is that in the next 2 years, I want to build an extra 2 rooms. Can you, at the onset, already make provision for that? Because any alterations later would cost you money, and we are trying to save money. So we are dealing with those aspects now so that we make those provisions and say, if you want a 4-bedroom, but the idea is to go up in the future, how do we make sure that we give you a double brick as opposed to a single brick? So those other building requirements, we deal with them at the onset at a one-on-one basis. Saka has lost the apartment that is up to you. Or the complexes. Yes. What we've then also made sure is that there would be a shopping mall, and that is our next unveiling of how and what is there to expect. So we're going to definitely make sure that your basic amenities, you have access to them. Beyond the shops, the playgrounds, the swimming pool, the theme parks, of course, and generally just the soccer field, because we need to produce a lot of Peter Chavaliers. They're doing very good.
Okay, in terms of Sakai's loss, it's a difficult one as people. Obviously, as young people, as you said, we are energetic, so we don't sleep early. That's the other problem. So we stay up too late. Sometimes we become rowdy and things like this. But obviously, anywhere where there are human beings, there needs to be rules and regulations. So the Sakai's loss is fine from a certain time to a certain time. Beyond that, then we need to find him because some people are stressed. They just want to be, we just want to be, I don't know what. So, in terms of that, there are going to be rules and regulations. We're going to fairly manage it like all other body corporates are managed. However, we're also trying to say that people have pets. This whole pet thing, it's going to be a pet-friendly apartment or pet-friendly apartments because we don't understand why people have an issue with dogs. Is it now because of the barking that the dog is going to whoa, 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 whoa? Dogs only bark if they're not fed at night. Please feed your dogs. If your dog sleeps on a full stomach, he will sleep the whole night. But I ideally would want to have an environment where it's pet friendly and things of this sort. Obviously, we've got small backyards for your pets and things of that nature, so that it obviously doesn't run around, but at least you can keep your pet there and so forth. But rules and regulations is important to us because as human beings, we all come from different backgrounds, we all have different beliefs, we all have different ideologies. So we would obviously just want to have a common understanding for all of us so that we can all live in harmony and obviously enjoy the peace, the tranquility, and everything else that the state needs to offer.
Thank you very much. By show of hands, can I see if anybody else has a question? Yeah. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. We can make this 4. Yeah, we are taking in 3. Mine is a bonus question. I just wanted to ask if you guys have a projection of when it is you are able to do your first handover. Maybe that can give an indication of how far the project is.
Okay, for those of you living and you are interested in the apartments, there is a question one with completed, email it back to us so that we can stay in touch and then we can discuss now how do you pay this 49,000. You pay it over a period of 1 year, you pay it over a period of 2 weeks, so that we get into those discussions. Like we remember what we said, we have flexible repayment options. We're not obviously expecting you to have that 49,000 day or that 59,000. But then we work out a plan in terms of how would you like to pay it off. So those of you who need to leave, we understand we have kids and things of that sort. Please just grab a questionnaire and then we take it from there.
Okay. No, for me, just a follow-up on what you said now. You're talking about
Anymore that can continue with the payment of the property. What will happen in the case? Thanks.
All right, thank you very much. For France. This is not France. No, but it's fine. You are France part 2. Then we. Yeah, then we can do France A and France B.
Good morning, everybody. Property Group, I just want to congratulate you on your perfect business plan. I wish you all the success of the plan. If I can just ask a question, please, on the co-ownership. Let's say, for an example, me and my partner want to invest, but we are not, let me say, carrying the same surnames. What are the legal aspects regarding co-ownership when, let's say, me and my partner want to invest in a property or so? Thank you.
Thank you, France A and France B. Are you France? Sorry, France B.
Thank you. Yeah, I think for me perhaps I'm just thinking because on my own I truly educate myself on this question around property. And I have other ideas. But what I also perhaps expect, maybe not now, but something that maybe property groups say Namibia can consider. Because I don't know exactly why you only limit it to a state. Because if the idea is township development, maybe you start with estate for now, but I think it will still be beneficial if the concept is really to liberate our people from this bondage of bank and stuff. We must give them latitude to own land outside. I think this is something that in the concept of thinking, maybe as the group grow, as a group property grow in this, find ways to have one strategy on in the way you are doing it. But again, I think the possibility, if I have something that and I don't want to be in confined to group, I'll come to the property and they are able to source or in different town. No, I want to be in Bowles by what are the possibility? I can come to the group and then say, no, we have a land that side. So I think if we must think in that line, rather than just to concentrate people at one place. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I believe you remember the question. Saka is lost for those who don't live in apartments. Time projections in terms of when it is possible servicing of land and handover will be done. We had a question about co-ownership, the legal implications. Brilliant suggestions by Franz, the original Franz. Yes. So perhaps we can just go through those questions. Then after this, we'll take a final round of questions. And then thereafter, we'll just close off so that you also have time to speak to them directly and to network with the team if you do have any other questions after that.
Time frames. Our projections were end of October. Because of the few instabilities with the cow, it has derailed us, I think, with a month or so. But that derailment is actually not a bad thing, because ideally, after we get the certificate from cow, we're supposed to go to the regional and township establishment board. But what cow has done, in the planners, what they've done is they've already applied for a license. It is when they approve a layout, we can immediately then commence with servicing. So that approval is supposed to be a follow-up. I think it should have been given a week ago, if not next week. So once that approval is given, our documents are ready for submission for MC and then essentially council meeting. So we're hoping before at least the new council comes in, we get our certificate out and we're able to start with that service. We are strongly praying for the current stability at CAL to be there. This is a process that is technically out of our hands. But 6 months process, we are not looking at a date later than August next year to have several handovers already and we begin to see the shape of that development as it goes, as we have already discussed. Those of us who are tied to, we are in principle working on the 12 months projection together. But of course, in the 12 months projection, we must be able to have service, we must be able to give a couple of houses, we must be able to give a couple of plots. In fact, the plots would have been gone because those guys must build on their own. It's just a matter of reorganizing and seeing how much progress we can do in the actual constructions of the houses. Like we said, we service and construct at the same time so that we put the time frames of the period of rent that we are paying currently. The issue around when you die and the house is built, nobody is there to pay. So if the beneficiary is unable to pay, and we have done a will, and all these things are in order, and we also have that very same beneficiary. So if somebody says, okay, Dimbulukweni has died, I'm the beneficiary, but on paper, you will know it will be found in our park, the people. It brings a little bit of conflict, but I'm sure we're able to resolve it. So if in a possibility when your beneficiary is unable, and many of us have placed our children, because we want these houses to go to our children. So in the instance that the beneficiary is not in a position to pay, it's not the end of the world. It's not that the beneficiary is going to be kicked out. We must first, the first step is to look at the avenues available to financing that house. It could be through your life cover. If you're insured, you have 2.5 million, you could pay off the difference. And then the property essentially is finally is paid off and your kids can have it. If your pension can, let's discuss it. But if none of the above are there, then what do we do? We must be able to then speak. Of course, we know why you essentially got this house. It's not for you, it's for your children. And that's why we make these investments. And for our families who are able to do it. So we must always find a mechanism that this family is not set out. If we have jobs available and they can do them, they can get a job and then they pay off the property. If we must, as a last resort, sell the property to ensure that we can find something within the confines of this beneficiary, we must be able to do it as property groups. Say if the house, for example, is a 2-bedroom valued at 1.5 million. 1.5 million, you've already paid off of the 350, you've already paid off 200,000. So there was just 150 left. So we can essentially get somebody to buy the house, get the 150, and from the 1.35 million, can get a property for this beneficiary, which they can essentially live off and have a better life after that. So we also work towards not creating a burden for that aspect. SACA is closed for the houses. The Homeowners Association serves exactly that purpose. Because as homeowners, as residents of the estate, we must come together and say, what are the rules that we're going to put up? Of course, there will be some rules where all of us will not be happy. We are unfortunately like our hands. Some will be short, some will be tall. Some will be like me, some will be slimmer. So the rules and the regulations that we place are essentially what we are designing ourselves. It's not anybody else coming with a set of rules, but it's all of us to discuss those rules. And that is why home ownership and homeowners association becomes a critical component to the development. How strong it is, the better it is for all of us. Because we all get to an estate for specific reasons. But if we can tick all those boxes and still be happy, I'm sure that we're able to manage one another.
In terms of co-ownership, what's your name, sir? Marco. Now, Marco, it's not about whether you've got the same surname or whether you are brothers, whether you are cousins, whatever the case is. Co-ownership basically means that you can co-own it with anyone that you trust. Whether it's now your friend, whether it's your girlfriend, whether it's your grandmother, whoever it is that you feel you are comfortable co-owning this property with. So ultimately, number one, you trust. Number two, you have an understanding. Number three, you obviously have known this person for a while, because you don't want just to co-own property with anyone. You want it to own it with someone you obviously have been around with for years and things of that sort. So we do not have an issue to say that if you guys do not have the same surname, we understand this is Africa. My brother does not have the same surname as I have, but he's still my brother. How? I cannot explain, but they are my brother. We don't share the same surname, but the guy is your brother. Sometimes you don't look the same, but he's still your brother. So we understand those dynamics. And what we're saying to you is to say that you can co-own with anyone. You are not restricted to say it's just strictly your family, whatever the case is. And to come to Mr. Fran's question, a very brilliant question. It's not to say that we only want to develop estates. We should be frank and honest with each other. Land within Windhoek is a bit pricey. Why is the land pricey? It's because most of the land here is not even owned by the city. It's owned by private individuals. So if a private individual wants to sell you just 300 squares for 1 million, how then do we get to buy 50 hectares at a decent price so that we can, what's the English word? So that we can centralize and be one with the people who already live within the cities. The reason why we chose the outskirts is because those are farmlands that we're now turning into townships. So they are obviously a bit cheaper in terms of valuation, so they are easier for us to purchase them. But if you are to say go to Rocky Crest now and we say no, give us a few good hectares, then we need some JIPF money and we need some good connections and all of those other things that now needs to come with you putting those things. I'm not a former rector of a university. I don't have friends who sit at that new building opposite the Katura Hospital. So it becomes difficult for us to access land in this part. So we then said, let them be radical and say, the city is growing anyways. So with this growth that the city is coming with, let us already be there. If you see in terms of development where we are, we're close to the B1. Now with the new dual carriage road means that if you need to drive to the airport, you no longer have traffic because you just get into the B1 and shoot. You are there at the airport. If you want to go to Kakarara, shoot, you are in Kakarara. So wherever it is that you now need to go, you have that easy access of and that ease of just getting onto the B1 and literally going to wherever it is that you are. But in terms of other developments, we're saying that yes, we're soon going to come to other towns. But let us first have an estate standing in Bintu. Because once this estate is standing in Bintu, if we say we're going to Kakarara, everyone will then be able to attest and say, no, well, it's true. The people have built an estate here already in Bintu. So Bintu is perhaps one of the most challenging areas where you can develop an estate. So we said to ourselves, let's rather start it here, and then if we can succeed here in Bintu, then any other places basically becomes a walk in the park for us. So we started with Bintu, we conquered the concrete jungle. Once the concrete jungle we've conquered it, the sand is not a problem, but the concrete jungle is an issue. So I hope with that we have answered most of the questions.
All right, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, okay, that would be the last question, just so that we close it off, because I'm seeing the time and we're starting to lose people also, so that you can now start conquering the jungle one-on-one also. So this will be our last question, and then we'll just close off.
Maybe beneficial to some of the colleagues here as well. I just wanted to find out, I know the project has been open for some time for applications and so on. Do we still have spaces available in terms of bigger land applications, houses and so forth? Because some of them, as we are confident the first time that we have this project. And yeah, that's basically it for now. Yeah, no, the other one is that some of us did applications, but you know, Corona did it us. It did because we were hit very hard by Corona. And we